I'm so glad they're gone. I cannot stand them. Anyway, I have a lot of anxiety in general, but what I'm talking about is meeting people like this, because well, I guess let me talk first about text-based conversations. One of the people that I met, that I mentioned, I had a negative interaction with, not on account of either of us. It's because of my inability to, one of two things. When you say something to me via text, I may misconstrue the context or the tone, or is that LOL that you're laughing or being sarcastic? Are you smiling sarcastic? I don't know that all the time, but because I've seen and have people do both. Additionally, very often what I say via these words on a screen don't convey what I'm feeling, what I want to get out, or what I'm trying to say. And I ended up, one of the people I met was after one of those negative interactions, and it was a nice relief at first, but I'm very guarded about that stuff, and I'm very happy, like, the way both parties reacted was not negatively where it could have been, but it was just very awkward for me. Now, the other reason I hesitate to meet people, and more so the reason I try to keep everything strictly within the hobby, is I always say I'm very candid and I'm incredibly unlikable. The more you know about me, which I will share with you gladly. That's the other thing. I don't hide it. I'm not guarded about it. If you're willing to, you want to talk about it, want to listen, or want to know. But this sounds melodramatic, maybe hyperbolic, but in essence, I'm alone. Like I say, I haven't... It's a big shock going from seeing nobody for days to being bombarded in an expo by people everywhere all around you, talking, new people, trying to retain faces. And again, this is where I say it gets like, sounds melodramatic or negative, and this is where I say I don't want pity, but this is a truth that is not, for me to pretend this is not the truth would be silly or unrealistic or illogical. So I'm not going to see people for weeks until I see my kids right now, aside from that expo, where, again, this is where I say I have to force myself into people's lives, because I could just not go to the expo and no one will say, oh man, Steve-O, you should go, let's go, come on. It's all right. And I'm getting there, I promise, but this is that point where I say, up until today in my life, every person I have met does not want to be in my life because of me. And I say, because, I mean, it's a mixed factor, but I always say I'm the common, in all of the people who don't like me, they may not know each other, they may not have ever met, they might live in different states. I'm the common denominator, meaning they only just don't want to talk with me. So I sadly, I don't tailor, I say I'm very open anyway. I don't not care, but I balance it. But my point is, I still, in the back of my head, I'm like, eventually this person's going to find out whatever it is they don't like about me, and then that's going to be the end. And it's very difficult for me to navigate that. I don't have many, by many I mean anyone. I say that I can just, if I sat down and talked with them, I wouldn't have to think before I say these words out of my mouth. All right, Steve-O, when you say this, what is the, like, worst way someone could misconstrue this or take this? Or the worst light that they can see it in? And that's what they're going to do. And I say, I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on about this, but like I say, this is just a big thing to talk about my anxiety, but again, I always say, I hope one thing, if you take away from any of this, is if you're a person dealing with anxiety and these stresses and social anxieties and social awkwardness, I did it. And I'm not smart. I'm not the most eloquent person. I'm not personable. I'm actually very abrasive. I talk too much. I'm overbearing. But I can still do it. And if I can do it, believe me, you can too, you know. And the last thing I guess I'll say is, and I talk about this a lot, you need to not only risk rejection, you need to start looking at failing and rejecting and being, and I should say rejection, as the fallout of, meaning when I do this, if that happens, then what? You don't have to. It's a lot of awareness and self-consciousness and hypotheticals, I should say, but it can help, because sometimes going blindly into something is not the best. You have to have different plans. If you fail, if you don't attain the level of success, if you're mildly successful but not fully, what then? Do you get those next steps? Are you comfortable right where you were? All of these different aspects come into meeting people, starting a business. You know, when I send you my wood or my isopods, I'm risking rejection because they may all be dead when they get there. The packaging may be bad. I don't know. And then you may get that review, or you may come to me personally. That's the form of rejection. Say, hey man, and now that rejection is going to cost me money that I have to reship out, or lose my business if I can't deal with it. The mental stress of just, oh my goodness, is this a one-off? Did that happen? What about these other people? Did I ship it that way soon? Was it the same there? I don't know. You have to risk failing and rejection, but you don't do it blindly. That is a big thing. And again, that's why I'm very happy I did it. I'm very happy, especially like I say, Wally kind of was kicking me in the butt. And, you know, now that other stuff is over, and I do have a minute, you know, one of the things I do want to thank Wally, if you're listening to this, or just talk about what I'm thankful for about Wally, is he armed, I use the term armed, but gave me different tools to use. So he talked about approaching the expo from looking at it from a future vendor, from a buyer, from a person willing to talk to people, from someone wanting to network. All of these different aspects. Look at, I'm not, you know, again, I don't want to get into all of the things, but not just saying, you can do it, Steve-O, go and you'll be fine. You know, it's not always that simple. And importantly, he listens. You know, I shouldn't say not all of, but a lot of the responses he gives is feedback to me. You know, I say, oh, man, Wally, I'm thinking this, I don't know. And he's like, boom, kick you in the butt, Steve, with this statement. You know, it's not just some, you got this, Steve, you're gonna do good. You know, you're good, Steve, you know, you can do it. These vague, you know, again, and that comes from the fact that he is experienced and an active listener. Like I say, that is one of the things I value in people the most. And that is one of the, and you know, going back to, then I'll end it here, that is one of the things I feel the worst about the way I handled the live stream, is I felt very impersonal looking at people through a camera. I'd say that's me. I don't know. I need to either get used to it. I need to either get used to feeling uncomfortable doing that, or find the way to just, again, in my head say, no, Steve, you know, it's relax. It's, you know, it's not the same again as talking to someone like this when they're watching the YouTube. Yeah. You know, it's not, again, but that is the feeling I get when I'm doing that. So I don't know, maybe let me know if you're here still. I don't know why, but you know, let me know your thoughts on that. But if you made it this far, thank you for listening to me ramble on about my apprehensions. I hope everything is going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones that you love, and that you go easy. Girls, I love you.